Hey everybody, Man Who Reads Books here for another Order Battletome review for Warhammer Age of Sigmar by Games Workshop. This is Order Battletome Daughters of Khaine, second time this book has been done now, and a few new little bits and pieces in here. This of course updates the Battletome to include everything that was in Morathi, the Soul Wars update to Age of Sigmar, and there's a few little key changes in here. So what do we got in this book? Well, first of all, page count's gone up. I got my other Daughters of Khaine book here to basically dare to compare. Went from 88 pages in the original through to 104 pages. So we've gained all of 16 pages worth of cool Daughters of Khaine stuff. Of course, it also updates the timeline so that the Shadow Queen / Morathi has attained godhood, and there's a whole sort of like push forward into the timeline of all the crazy events happening in the Mortal Realms. And that's pretty much what the first half of the book focuses on. We got some description of the daughters themselves, and then what's been going on with them as time has gone forward. The alliances and pacts they made, the inevitable betrayal basically of Morathi with the rest of the Order powers, and all of the sort of like politicking that's happened in with that. The fact that the Idnith have basically joined forces with Morathi, and the Elven nations are not exactly all friendly to each other anymore, is the sort of like overview in here. Got a unit overview for all the different units, and apart from the new character, the Iron Scale, there isn't a super, and of course the rewrite for the Warscroll from Morathi herself. You don't have a huge amount of new stuff in here, but there are some small changes. A lovely painting guide, of course, focusing on contrast paints, which didn't have happened before, and we got some Temples of Khaine to add in as well. So first thing, let's jump right in, get right to it as we do. Allegiance abilities. Not a lot has changed here. The blood rights are effectively the same as before. One key change is Slaughterer's Strength, where you could reroll all wound rolls before, is only on melee attacks. So anytime you're going to be rerolling your wounds for your eyes lasers on round 4 or more, that's no longer possible. Fanatical Faith is the same, 6-up shrug against wounds and mortal wounds. But now we have temples. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 temples. All of which have, of course, a bespoke command trait, command ability, and artifact, which you must take, however, if you're using that temple. Don't have to use a temple, obviously. If you want to select command traits that are outside of these 6, you won't be using a temple, because otherwise you're stuck with the one that's in there for your general. But they had some neat other abilities, so we'll go through all those. So yeah, not a lot of change here. The melee thing, and then, of course, obviously the Temples of Khaine being new. So, command traits, bathed in blood, exactly the same. Get a wound back to your general, and get +1 to your wound characteristic as well. Zealous Orator, add 2 bravery, 2 friendly Daughters of Khaine within 12 of the general, so different like range now. It's 14 before, and they would use your bravery characteristic. So this way, it's a flat buff as opposed to if you've been debuffed, they would use yours. There's no negative connotation here. They just get a bonus to their bravery, which is nice. Sacrificial Overseer, add 1 to hit rolls, it's just a new name basically. Its general's weapons get +1 to hit. Now it's melee weapons only, so if you had a gun for some reason, like the eye lasers on the Bloodrack Shrine, anything that needed to roll to hit that was shooting wouldn't get it anymore, just melee attacks. Terrifying Beauty's the same, -1 to hit. Mistress of Knowledge, Mistress for Poisons has been replaced by Masters for Poisons, so add 1 damage for each successful attack made by this general. So that would apply to shooting weapons for whatever reason. So if there was a shooting attack, it's +1 damage now. I can't think of anybody who's +1, who's got a shooting attack. The Bloodrack Stare doesn't use plus to hits, actually wouldn't be, I guess the Shadow Queen, but she's not going to have one because she's already a character. I guess it's just the Iron Scale could get it with her missile weapon, the Keldra Saith, so I could get +1 damage, so be damage 2 with 3 attacks. That'd be pretty cool. That's for elf generals only actually, so she couldn't even have that one because she's a Medusa, or sorry, Melusae rather. So she wouldn't even be able to access that. The Heartseeker Bow on the Blade. No, that's the Blade Coven. That's Morgwaith. No, she doesn't have one either. The Cauldron of Blood, I guess. That's really it. The Torn of Burning Blood could have it. I can't think of anything else. Slaughter Queen doesn't have a gun. Witch Elves don't have guns. No, that's it. It's just going to be And he's not a hero, he's a totem, so he doesn't get it either. His Torn of Burning Blood wouldn't do it. So the Avatar Kane couldn't have it either. So it's, I mean, it's cool. It's on your melee weapons too, but all your attacks get +1 damage because of Master Poisons. That's, I think it's cool in Torn of Blood. True Believer, add one in the current battle round, which is the same as True Believer before. So it means you're always one ahead basically for your awesome, whatchamacallit, your awesome bonus abilities you get each round. Then we've got our Masters of Blood Magic for the Bloodrock Medusa. What do we got here? No bonuses, I don't think, for her, so these ones are new. Arcane Mastery. So this one has a weird wording. It's in your hero phase, you can reroll 1 casting, dispelling, or unbinding roll for this general. You don't tend to unbind in your own hero phase, so yeah, the Yor kind of messes that one up. If it was just in the hero phase, you can reroll 1 casting, dispelling, or unbinding roll for this general, that would make more sense. You can dispel an endless spell, and you can cast spells in your hero phase. I can't think of any time you'd unbind in your own hero phase, because your opponent's never casting in your hero phase. So the unbinding one doesn't appear to work because it wouldn't work in your opponent's hero phase, just yours. I don't know, it feels like it needs an FAQ. I could just be stupid and it works somehow and I'm reading it wrong, but the wording, the fact that it only specifies your hero phase makes the unbinding roll doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Writhing Coils, -1 hit for attacks target general. Fearsome Presence, reroll failed battle shock test for Daughters of Khaine while they're wholly within 12. And then Morathi's right hand, the Melusai Iron Scale General, veteran of the Cathar Duel. If this general is part of your army, at the start of the hero phase, roll 4+, get extra CP, +1 to save rolls for attacks, then Penetrable Scales, and Fueled by Revenge. Once for battle in your hero phase, you can use the Wrath of the Scathborn command ability without spending any command points. I mean, that one's never better than this one. So half the time you're going to get an extra command point, or once per game get a command point. Why would you ever take, that's just the fact that both those are on the same model is not, it's just not thinking about the connotations, because this one clearly is just better than that one. So if you're going 5 turns, you're going to get 2.5 command points out of that one on average, or you get 1 free command point by Field from Revenge. These can be used by anybody, this one's only on her. So that's just never going to get used. Sad, because you could get a cool command trait in there that wasn't that. It's a redundant trait, I guess is what I'm saying. Artifacted Power for the Gifts of Morathi. What else we got here? Crown of Woe, -2 Bravery within 7, and if you kill anybody, it goes to 14, same as before. Cursed Blade is now Shadrakar's Fang. Pick one of their melee weapons, add 1 to hit rolls. If it's got Exploding Mortal Wounds. It's 7+ for the old one, now it's 6+. Cool. But it's unmodified 6+, so you don't have to worry about the weird wording from before, and debuffs don't affect it. Amulet of Dark Fire, roll a die and try and get a mortal wound from a spell, and a 4+ it's shrugged, same as before. Chrome Blade, pick a melee weapon. At the end of the combat phase, if any models were slain by wounds, then you can heal D3 wounds. So D3 instead of 1 now, it's cool. Thousands of 1 Dark Blessings, it's a 5+ just Shroom Shrug. Used to be +1 save, so now you have a 5+ after save, which is kind of cool. And then Bloodbane Venom, pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. At the end of the combat phase, if any wounds inflicted by attacks made by that weapon in that phase were allocated to an enemy model and not negated, roll a die. If it's higher than their wounds, they're dead. So same as before. And then we've got some stuff for the Bloodrock Medusa, which I don't know. Some of these might have been in the Morathi book. But Shadowstone, +1 to cast. Rune of Ulgu, no an extra spell. Mirror Glaive. Each time a bear successfully unbinds a spell, you can immediately cast Arcane Bolt or Mystic Shield as if it was your hero phase. That's cool. And if it's successful, you can't unbind it. Sevenfold Shadow, once per battle in your movement phase. Redeploy anywhere on the battlefield, not within 9. Crystal Heart, cast an extra spell in your hero phase, but roll a die on a 1 take D3 mortal wounds because the heart starts to crack. And then Shade Claw, -2 rend on your Whisper Claw. Daughters of Khaine Priests, you can know an extra prayer for Blood Sigil. Iron Circlet, reroll a prayer roll of 1. Rune of Khaine, if you die, roll a die. On a 1, the attacking unit, nothing happens. 2 to 5, they take D3 mortal wounds. On a 6, they take D6 mortal wounds because you blow up. Crimson Shard, pick a melee weapon, add 2 to wound rolls. Khainite Pendant, in your hero phase, you can chant up to 3 prayers, but if any of the rolls are 1, you take D3 mortal wounds for each one, you're not answered. And then Hag Brew, +1 to wound rolls for attacks made by melee weapons. Again, the Crimson Shard and the Hag Brew, like unless you're having to give 2 to each, Most of them only have one melee weapon, so the Crimson Shard would just be better. I can't think of, do any of the priests have more than one weapon? Let me see. So the priests are Hag Queens, who have one melee weapon. Hag Queen on Cauldron of Blood. Do they count as mount attacks? No, they're all her melee weapons, I guess. So I guess the on Cauldron one would benefit from the +1 to all the attacks, whereas she'd benefit more from just wounding on ones. Slaughter Queen is also a priest, so yeah, they would apply to all. The Death Sword too actually would get that. Okay, there is a reason to take it then. And actually the Slaughter Queen on foot, is she a priest? She is, yeah. So she would get to benefit from having +1 to both her attacks. So there you go. I guess I'm wrong in that case. And then Spell Lores, we've got Seed of Shadows still, of course. Yeah, let's turn the page here so I can look at all these. Same as before, move 16 and fly. Pit of Shades, you're going to roll higher than movement on 2d6. Yep, same as before. Demir Dance, pick 2 heroes and they get to go anywhere. It's less weird than before. Now it's just pick two Daughters of Khaine heroes wholly within 18 of the caster invisible, and then they redeploy anywhere more than 9 enemy units. That's it. So they don't have to stay next to each other anymore, and they can go anywhere on the table. So you just pick 2 up and go whoop, bye. So the perfect thing to grab Morathi and have them go for a party. The Withering has a casting value of 7. Actually, it'd be funny if your Wizard Morathi was somehow in combat and your big Morathi was like way far from the combat, you just swap them. Withering on a 7, +1 to wound rolls. Mind Razor is improve the run by 1, and if they charge, you get +1 damage. And then Shroud of Despair, cast on a 4, it's basically the same. Subtract 1 from the its bravery characteristic. If it was an 8+, it's D3 instead of 1. And then Prayers, we got Catechism of Murder. If it's answered, pick a friendly Daughters of Khaine within 14 until the next hero phase. You get Exploding 6s, 2 hits instead of 1. Blessing of Khaine, pick a friendly Daughters of Khaine within 14. You can reroll Fanatical Faith, so 6+ rerolls. Your artifacts could give you +1 and stuff too. Martyred Sacrifice, in this prayer is successful, pick a friendly Daughters of Khaine unit within 14 until your next hero phase. Every time someone's slain, they can pick a unit within 3 and on a 5+ take a mortal wound because they get on fighting. Crimson Rejuvenation, heal D3 wounds to a model within 14. Covenant of the Iron Heart, if this prayer is answered, pick a friendly Daughters of Khaine within 14, no battle shock. Sacrament of Blood, unit within 14 until your next hero phase, add 1 to the current battle round. So you can juice somebody up and make them do all the good things. +1 or reroll 1s to everything. All right, we're into our different temples now. There are 6 of them. And you gotta take this stuff if you pick one. So starting with Hagnar, add 1 to the current battle round when determining the abilities gained by friendly Hagnar from Bloodright's ability. So if you take Hagnar, you don't get the command ability that gets you that +1, but you get it anyway. So cool, it doesn't freeze you out from starting on round 2 basically. But you can't double it down because you're already getting the command trait from this. And then send forth the Cauldrons. you can use this command at sort of your movement phase. If you do so, pick a friendly Hagnar Cauldron of Blood within 3 of any friendly Hagnar units of at least 3 or more models, and then they get to add 3 to its movement. So basically, your units push your Cauldrons further for a command ability, for a CP. Then your command trait is Devoted Disciple. The Fanatical Faith battle trait negates a wound on a 5+ instead of a 6. So that's a reason to take it right there, is getting 5+ wound shrugs instead of 6+ wound shrugs while you're within 12 of the general. Wholly within 12 of the general. But obviously, if you're doing general on a Cauldron with a blood field, then yes, that's what you're doing. And a 5+ shrug now. Artifact of Power, pick one of the bearer's melee weapons, add 1 of the damage characteristic if the bearer made a charge move in the same turn. So, pretty cool. Pretty much the same as before. Yep, almost identical to before. Bladed Killers, so we're into... +1 hit rolls for their units if they charge in the same turn. The 1,000 Blade Forms, they don't seem to get the Drakey, the Warscroll Battalion bonus. Unless that's written in the Warscroll battalions now. Let me just double check. I was just noticing that the in this one, in the original one, the temples had the Warscroll battalion bonuses like built in. I'm just curious if they've just moved that information over to this side now. Nope. Haggar Cauldron Battalion can include one Avatar of Khaine or an additional Cauldron of Blood. So now it's Cauldron Guard. Let's look for Cauldron Guard. Shrine of Blood. Is there one? Is there a Cauldron Guard? No. Cauldron Guard. Hag Queen, Tea Witch Elves, and Kinray Life Takers. Nope. So that's just gone, it looks like. Yep, those abilities are just gone. The different Warscroll battalions are just gone. Interesting. I was gonna check later on, but it looks like because it's not printed in here, that is the difference I was looking for. Yep, they're just gone. So yeah, Draichi Ganeth, or sorry, Draichi. Pretty much the same. +1 hit rolls if they charge in the same turn, but not for everybody. It's for improve the rend character. Oh no, it is just different. It's not. It's +1 hit rolls before. Now it's improve the rend characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Draichi Ganeth Witch Elves, and Sister Slaughter by 1 if they made a charge move. So not +1 to hit. It's better rend. They don't hit on 2s anymore. And then 1,000 blade forms. Use command ability. If you do so, pick a friendly Draichi Ganeth Witch Elves unit or one friendly Draichi Ganeth Sister Slaughter unit wholly within 12 of a hero, and then they get +1 to hit. So their old ability that was their like, we get this for free ability, got turned into improving rend, and now for CPs you can make them hit +1. So it costs you now to make your units hit in +1. But if you're alpha striking one big unit of Witch Elves, it's not that bad. Command trait. Your general gets this one. Victor of Yathril. Add 1 to bravery characteristic for friendly Draichi Ganeth units wholly within 12 of the general. Artifact of Power. Death's Kiss. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. Add 2 to the attack characteristic of that weapon if the bearer made a charge move in the same turn. And then we're into the Kraith. So gone is their Warscroll Battalion ability, just like the other one. Disciples of Slaughter. At the end of the combat phase, roll a die for each friendly Kraith Sister Slaughter unit that fought. On a 5+, they can fight for a second time. So that's a 5+. And it was a 6 before. And it has to be still within 3 before. Now it's just if they fought. So if they've killed everybody, they could pile in again and fight, even if they're not within 3 anymore. It's pretty cool. Command ability, inspired by Carnage. Use it in the combat phase. If you do so, pick a friendly Kraith Sisters of Slaughter unit wholly within 12 of a Kraith hero. Add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by a unit in that phase. They can't benefit more than once. And then your artifact command trait is bathe in their blood. At the end of the combat phase, if this general is in the battlefield and any enemy units were destroyed, get a command point. And then Artifact of Power, Venom of Nagendra. I think it's pretty much the same. No, actually it's not. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons once per battle at the start of the combat phase. Oh no, it's just worded differently. You can say that the bearer will anoint this weapon with the venom. If you do so, pick an enemy unit within 1 of the bearer. They take d6 mortal wounds, but the bearer cannot fight with melee weapons in that combat phase. So you just explode in mortal wounds, but don't do any actual fighting. And then Kael'bron. It's going to be -1 to hit in the shooting phase. Yep, and missile weapons. Command ability, Master the Shadow Paths. You can use command ability at the end of your movement phase. If you do so, pick one friendly Kael'bron unit wholly within 12 with a friendly Kael'bron hero. It's a general. Remove them from the battlefield and set them up anywhere in the battlefield more than 9 from any enemy units. The unit cannot move until the next movement phase. You've got your command trait, which is Mistress of Illusion. Just -1 hit now. Yeah, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons to target the general. So they get the general gets both, right? -1 for missile weapons for concealment and stealth, -1 for everything for the general. And then Artifact of Power. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. If an unmodified hit roll for attack made by that weapon is a 6, does a mortal wound in addition to normal damage. You get exploding mortal wounds. So you kind of actually just get some of the stuff from the core traits with them. Keltnar. We're gonna get there. I do like when these get redone because I have something I can like look at. Oh no, these ones are the new ones. There we go. Yes, because there was 4 before. Now there's these new ones. That's what I was. This is why I'm confused, because I'm trying to compare the 2 books and they're related almost identically before. And I'm getting lost because I'm doing this back and forth in this. So Keltnar is Strike and Fade. They can retreat and still charge in the same turn. And their command ability is Bleed the Mind. You can use this command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, pick one friendly Keltnar unit wholly within 12 of a friendly Keltnar hero. until your next hero phase. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with the melee weapon is a 1, the attacking unit suffers a mortal wound after all its attacks have been resolved. I think that's hilarious. So you debuff the opponent. Yeah, that's really cool. If you're fighting like goblins, I'm just thinking of things that roll buckets of dice. Like if you're like fighting goblins who roll like a gajillion dice when they fight you, and they have to kill you for whatever reason that turn, they would just explode their own unit, rolling like 60 or 80 attacks, something like that, and just rolling, 12 or 13 ones. Command traits, once per battle, at the end of your movement phase, you can say that the general will summon a flock of Khaine to the battlefield, so you get a free unit of 5 Khaine Harpies, anywhere in the battlefield, not within 9. So they get a cool, like almost like a ghoul summon. Artifact of power. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. If the unmodified hit roll for the attack melee opens as 6, does 2 hits instead of 1. Make a wound and save roll for each. So you get exploding 6s. Again, an artifact from almost previous. And then Zainthar Kai, Khaine's Essence. Add one of the bravery characteristic of Zainthar, Khalai, Melusai, and Kinrai Harpies units. So your Melusai and your Harpies get bonus to bravery. And then Vault of the First Brood, add 1, you can choose 1 additional hero in your army to have an artifact of power. So that's cool. So you get 2 artifacts just for taking this. And if you're playing all Blood Sisters and stuff, that's awesome. Command ability, Power in the Blood. You can use command ability once per phase when you pick a friendly Zainthar Kai Melusai unit or friendly Zainthar Kai Kinrai Harpies unit to fight. And that unit's wholly within 12 of a friendly hero. If you do so, add 1 of the attack characteristic of melee weapons until the end of the phase. So you get +1. Command trait, Zainthar K General must have this. Curse the Bloody-Handed. At the end of the combat phase, roll dice for each enemy unit within 3 on a 5+, take D3 mortal wounds. That's cool. Just having a mortal wound aura in the combat phase. And then Artifact of Power, Crimson Talisman will subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks that with melee weapons that target the bearer. And then you get your cool bespoke little battle thing. You get your warband tables. The War Covenant of Morathi. I think it's pretty much the same, so we're moving past into Warscroll battalions now. It requires a Viperic Guard, a Cauldron Guard, so it's your super battalion basically, one of each of the battalions. It doesn't require Morathi anymore though, which is interesting. So organization, it doesn't require Morathi. It's a Viperic Guard, Cauldron Guard, Slaughter Troop, Scathe Coven, and a Shadow Patrol. And no battle shock tests for Instance Battalion if Morathi Khaine is part of your army and on the battlefield. Oh, so it does require her. So it's these things, but if she's also alive on the battlefield, then don't take battle shock tests. Cool. Cauldron Guard's a Hag Queen, 2 units of Witch Elves, 2 units of Kinrai Life Takers, +1 to run charge rolls for Instance Battalion. Slaughter Troop is Slaughter Queen, 2 units of Sister Slaughter, 2 units of Kinrai Heartrenders. Each for this battalion can retreat and still shoot or charge later, but you can still just take that as a temple. Shadow Patrol, 2 units of Doomfire Warlocks, and 4 units of Kinrai Harpies. Shadow Paths, in your movement phase, instead of making a normal move in a unit from the battalion, you can say it's going to navigate the Shadow Paths, just remove it and put it anywhere within 9. They get the pipes, basically, from Sylvaneth. Scathe Coven, a unit of Bloodrack Medusae or Melusai Iron Scale, 1 to 4 units of Blood Sisters, 1 to 2 units of Blood Stalkers, and 0 to 2 units of Kinrai Harpies. No battle shock tests. Viperic Guard requires Morathi Khaine. Oh, so she was in there. It's just if she's alive in the battlefield. Oh, the Viperic Guard has her in it now. I gotcha. So it's Morathi Khaine, the Shadow Queen, and then 1 to 2 units of Bloodrack Medusae or Melusai Iron Scales in any combination, and 2 to 3 units of Blood Sisters or Blood Stalkers in any combination. And then she gets Vaunted Slayers. Once per battle, a hero in your battalion can use a command ability without a command point being spent, so you get a free command point, basically. But that means if you just wanted to run the all Morathi and big guy army, you could, because I mean she's 600 points, and then they're all Battleline, I'm pretty sure. If a Bloodback Medusae or so basically if you got the ability just to have them be Battleline, because you take the 2 heroes, 1 of each maybe, and then 2 to 3 units of the other dudes, and those are your Battleline right there. So big fat units of 20 if you want, and you could have a single drop, so it'd be 600 for her. The Iron Scale's 110, the Medusa's 100, so 210, so 820, and then just fill the rest in with Battleline, Blood Sisters, and Blood Stalkers. So easy squeeze to get 1,200 points out of that, because they're 130 each. So we're looking at 8 times 5, another 40. So 40 big base, and then it's all snake people all the time. And you could easily get to 2,000 points. And yeah, and then there we go. So, oh, sorry, and then we're looking at the Shrine Bird. 2 Bloodrock Shrines, 2 units of Blood Sisters or Bloodstalkers, any combination, and 2 units of Harpies. Blood Sacrifice, in your hero phase, you can pick any number of units from this battalion that are within 6 of a Bloodrock Shrine in the same battalion. 1 model from each unit you picked as slain. You can heal 1 wound allocated to the Bloodrock Shrine for each Harpy that was slain, and you can heal 2 wounds for each Maluse that was slain. So you can just kill people to suck them back into the shrine. And we're looking at Morathi Khaine, the Shadow Queen. As far as I can tell, these are identical to the reprints in Morathi, so I'm not going to spend any time on them. Bloodrock Shrine, which I don't think was reprinted recently, but I'm just going to grab that. I'm going to actually look that up on my phone, because my phone would be more current even than the book in front of me, because the book in front of me is like 2018 or something like that. Bloodrock Shrine. So we're looking at pretty much the same core stats, 13 wounds, 5 blood save. The stair is 12 inches now, sweet, and doesn't have anything other than you do a stair. Roll a number of dice equal to the number of models in the target unit, and a 5+ take a mortal wound, sweet. Tail of Serpents is 2-inch range, same exact as before, d6 attacks at 4s and 4s. Whisper Claw is 4 attacks, 4s and 3s. The Bloodrock Spear is 2-inch range, 3s and 3s, 3 attacks. It gained an attack, so it's got 3 attacks now. And then the Goad Staves. Attacks can go down still. They are pretty much the same. It's slightly less easy to bracket. So it takes 3 wounds without being bracketed now, and has move 6. Then it goes 4 to 6. It's lost a bracket basically. 4 to 6, 7 to 10, 11 plus. And at bottom bracket now, it's 3-inch move, 3 attacks with the Goad Staves, and a 5+ aura. Sweet. Aura of Agony. At the start of your hero phase, you can roll 1 die equal to for each enemy unit within 7. If it rolls equal or greater than the Aura of Agony value, take D3 mortal wounds. Sounds pretty... Where is it? Enfeebling Foe before? Aura of Agony. Yeah, it's the same as before. 2+, 3+, 4+, 5+. Enfeebling Foe. Cast on 5, -1 wound rolls. Yep, with melee weapons, same as before. In the combat phase, Blood-Bladed Impact looks the same. 2+ for D3 mortal wounds. And still pick 1 unit. Whisper Claw, if unmodified, hit roll is a 6, does mortal wound on top. And the attack sequence ends. Is that the same? Bloodrock Stair, no. That's gone. Whisper Claw's gone. Or Whisper Claw's new, sorry. Whisper Claw, this wasn't here, is here. Which one's new now is breaking my brain. Bloodrock Medusa gains Whisper Claw ability, it looks like. Pretty much the same core stats, 8 inches, bravery 8, 6 wounds, 5+ save. Bloodrock Stair has changed as per the sea belows. 12-inch range, gain 2 inches. And yeah, it's the same. When making a Bloodrock Stair attack, interesting. 5+ mortal wounds. Whisper Claws does the mortal wounds. Enfeebling Foe is the same. And her attacks, she gained a Bloodrock Spear attack. Yep. Whisper Claw is 1-inch range, 4 attacks. Yep, same as there. Hits on 3s now though, instead of on 4s. Which hits on 4s now instead of 3s, sorry. But does the mortal wounds. And the Tail Serpents is the same. Yeah, it's gone down in hitting there, the Whisper Claw has. The Iron Scale looks like it's the same as in Morathi. Iron Scale. 8-inch move, 6 wounds, bravery 9. The range attack is the same. 3s and 3s, -1 damage. Keldrosay, 2-inch range, 3 attacks, 3s and 3s. Yeah, this is exactly the same. Go to the Oracles, 5+ ignore spell. Gory Offering, +1 attack, yep. Turn to Crystal, same. command ability is same. More with the blood is the same as printed online. Hag Queen on Cauldron. Hag Queen on Cauldron of Blood. Same core stats. Same range for Torn of Burning Blood. 6 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1/1 damage. Of course, we saw we could add damage to that with a trait. Hag Queen's Blade of Khaine. 4 attacks, 1-inch range, 3s and 4s, -1/1 damage. 3s and 3s now, -1/1 damage, so it's wounding a bit easier. Sacrificial Knives. Are the same. And Avatar's Sword is 4 attacks, still, yep, 2-inch range, 3s and 3s, -2, 3 damage, 3s and 3s, -2 damage, yep, it's the same. Blade and Impact is the same. Blood Shield. Add 1 to save rolls, target friendly Daughters of Khaine units while they are wholly within the range of any friendly models with this ability. It starts at 18, then goes 14, 10, 6. It lost a bracket as well, so it's a bit harder to damage, you can see. So it goes to 3 before it gets bracketed. And its bottom bracket now is 3, 5, 6, which is better. Witch Brew. Distilled from the blood of Slaughter Queens. Okay, so that's changed. At the start of your hero phase, you can pick a friendly Daughters of Khaine unit wholly within 12 and drink a Witch Brew. If you do so, add 1 to the following. If you do so, roll a dice, adding 1 to the following roll for each of the following abilities that this model has gained. Headlong Fury, Zealot's Rage, Slaughter's Strength. So basically, the later the turn is, you get +1 to the roll. On a 5+, you can reroll wounds for attacks made by melee weapons by that unit until your next phase. In addition, on a 5+, do not take battle shock tests for that unit until your next hero phase. So you jack somebody up with a Witch Brew. And it's interesting that they don't say turn. What they say now is what abilities have you unlocked. So when you have those abilities that add to the turn count and makes it so that your army is 2 or 3 ahead, you're going to get these additional abilities. Because I think it's Headlong Fury is the first one, and then Rage is the second one, and then Strength is the third one. Sorry, Headlong Fury is the second one. So you're going to get +1 in the first battle round if you've got something that ups your turn count. And then it's Zealot's Rage, Slaughter's Strength, that's right. So it's turns 2, 3, 4. So by turn 4, potentially, or turn 3 if you've taken a bump, then you've got the 2+ to unlock this Witch Brew. Sweet, and then Wrath of Khaine. If your army includes any Avatars of Khaine, friendly Daughters of Khaine priests can chant the following prayer. Animated, pick a friendly Avatar of Khaine in the battlefield until your next hero phase it's animated. And you can't do your Cauldron of Blood, Burning Blood, or Avatar of Khaine attacks with your sword until it's animated. Hag Queen, same core stats. Sword's the same except it wounds on 3s now. Priestess of Khaine, same. Rune of Khaine, same. Witch Brew, same as on the Cauldron of Blood. Slaughter Queen on Cauldron of Blood. Slaughter Queen. I'm pretty sure she's going to be pretty much the same core stats up here. Yep, also lost a bracket. Blade and Impact is the same. Blood Shield's the same. Idol Worship, add 1 to Bravery within 12. Wholly within 12. Pact of Blood, unbind a spell as if you're a wizard. In the enemy hero phase, Priestess of Blood. In your hero phase, you can chant 1 of the following prayers. So you have Rune of Khaine and Touch of Death as well. So your Blade of Khaine becomes D3 damage, and Touch of Death is pick an enemy within 3, then hide dice. Oh, good, a dice hiding game, still in the game. Then take a dice and hide it in your hands. Your enemy must pick, if they pick the one holding the die, the unit takes D3 mortal wounds. Why not just roll 4+? Like, I understand, but statistically, a 50% chance is a 50% chance. If they're going to pick one of your 2 hands, does it make the opponent feel better, I guess? That would be the reason the reasoning I would say is because it makes your opponent feel like they had some choice in the matter, but it's still a 50-50, really. And then Wrath of Khaine's the same. And Orgy of Slaughter, you can use this command ability once per turn in your hero phase. If you do so, pick a friendly Daughters of Khaine, not fought yet, and only within 12. And they can fight. Slaughter Queen, she's basically the same. Her sword got slightly better. Witch Elves. Let's see what we've got here for the core Battleline units. They are same core stats, 6-inch move, 6+ save, bravery 7, 2 attacks each, 3s and 4s, 1 damage, 1-inch range. The Hag is +1 to hit rolls. Nope, +1 to attack characteristic now. Sweet, so 3 attacks on the Hag. Standard Bearer is 1 every 5 models. You can reroll failed battle shock tests. And then Hornblower, reroll units that include any Hornblowers can run and still charge. Oh, cool. What did it do before? Yeah, the same thing. Can charge even if they ran. Bladed Bucklers, add 1 to save rolls. You have Bladed Bucklers. In addition, if the unmodified save roll for attack made the Bladed Buckler is 6, they take a mortal wound back. And that's pretty much the same. Frenzied Fervor, add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons if they're wholly within 12 of any Daughters of Khaine heroes. And then Paired Knives, add 1 +1 attack. So you have +1 attack or 5+ save and bounce back damage still. Sisters of Slaughter, looks like it's all pretty much the same. Bravery 7, same core stats. Barbed Whip is the same. Sacrificial Knife is the same. Handmaiden is +1 attack now instead of +1 to hit. Standard Bearer, reroll failed battle stock, and Hornblower run charge, same as before. Dance to Death, fight within 6, and pile in 6. Bladed Bucklers, +1 save, they get the bounce back as well. And then Khainite Shadowstalkers made it in the list. Sweet, same core stats is available online. Doomfire Warlocks, I don't think they're going to be super different. Although I like their battalion, lets them bamf around. Core stats are unchanged. Crossbow is winning on 3s now, that's nice. So 2 shots, 4s and 3s, and a 12-inch range, so a range bump. Cursed Scimitar is 2 attacks, 4s and 4s, 4s and 3s now. Oof, they got slightly fightier. -1/1 damage. And then Vicious Bite is winning on 4s for the horse. Sweet, so everything got upgraded a little bit. Steed Attack is the Vicious Bite. Master of Warlocks gets +1 to attacks instead of +1 to hit with its crossbow. The Coven, add 1 to casting and binding rolls when there's more than 5. So instead of 10, so they cut the cost of that. So as long as you're a full unit, you get +1 to cast. And then Doomfire. Cast on 6, pick an enemy unit within 12. If the casting has fewer than 5 models, take D3. If it's 5 to 9, D6 mortal wounds. If the casting value is 10 or more models, 6 mortal wounds. Holy moly. That's a pretty cool ability. I mean, even just having 5 doing D6 mortal wounds is huge. But if it's more than 10, or if you have 10 or more, then you just get 6 flat mortal wounds. Pretty cool. Avatar Khaine still has to be animated, but he animates automatically on the turn round, just like before. He has the exact same core stats for his Torn of Burning Blood. These exactly the same, it looks like. Idol Worship, add +1 bravery within 12, add +1 to prayer rolls if you're within 9. That's pretty cool. Altar of Khaine. That's new, actually. Yep, +1 to your prayers. And then Wrath of Khaine, if your army includes any avatars of Khaine, they can chant the following animated. Let's look at Blood Sisters. Blood Sisters and Blood Stalkers. Blood Sisters, core stats are the same. Glaive is the same. They get a bonus attack. Yep, same as before. Turn to crystal, at the end of the combat phase, pick a unit within 1, roll a dice for each model in the unit. On a 3+, take a mortal wound. Whew, that's cool. Yeah, but it's based on their unit size, not the opponent's. Otherwise, that would be terrifying. So it's the same as before. Bloodstalkers. Give an extra shot. Just give an extra shot. That's all I want. Yup. Oh, they always had an extra shot. Never mind. Yep. Still 2 shots each. 3s and 3s, -1/1 damage. They blow into mortal wounds. Crone gets a bloodworm. Anything change in the bloodworm? No. 1 attack, 3s and 3s. 3s and 4s, they're identical. Life Takers and Heartrenders. Maybe you guys got a buff. Kinray. Your core stats are the same. Your attack stats are slightly different. Oops, that's the wrong one. Life Takers we were looking at first. Core stats are exactly the same, yeah. They can fly, +1 to hit. And I get +1 attack now instead. Death in the Wind. +1 damage to their barbed sickles and improve runner characteristic by 1 if they charged. That's cool, so they get a better rend if they charge now. So damage 2 and -1 rend. Descend to Battle is the same. They jump down. Fight and flight. Each time this unit fights, you can roll a dice after its attacks have been resolved. On a 4+, they can make a retreat move of 6. And then Hard Piercer Shield. Add 1 to save rolls for attacks made with melee weapons to target this unit. In addition, if they are modified, they bounce back. And then Heart Renders, the Javelins, 3s and 3s, -1/1. Yep, the same. Melee is the same as well. +1 attack instead of +1 to hit. Death from above. They can shoot, still run, still shoot later in the turn. And if they were set up in the battlefield, they get -1 rend to their barbed javelins. They can become -2. That's pretty cool. Descend to battle's the same. Fight and flight's the same. 4+, fall back 4+. To fall back 6 inches. And Heart Piercer Shield is the same. And that's it. Pitch battle profiles. And we're done. So, Sisters of Slaughter. Actually, the points wouldn't even have been in this book. I don't think it's so old. Were they? Maybe they were. They were. Although these might be different based on even just the last couple of General's Compendiums, or General's Handbook, sorry. 120, they're the same. Witch Elves and Sisters of Slaughter are the same. 130 for an Avatar Khaine now, down 50 points, but that's already been changed, I'm pretty sure. The Medusa's 100. Hag Queens are 90. A bit more expensive. Iron Scales are 110. Morathi Khaine is 600 altogether. Morgwaith the Blooded's 80, Slaughter Queens are 100, Bloodrack Shrines are 160, 220 for a Hag Queen and a Cauldron, 270 for a Slaughter Queen. Blood Sisters are 30, Stalkers are 140, Doomfire Warlocks are 120. So they're down from originally, but they're already down in the General's Handbook, I'm pretty sure. Shadow Stalkers are 100, Life Heartrenders are 80, and Life Takers are 80. Cauldron Guard are 120, Scathe Coven's 140, Shadow Patrol's 130, Shrine Blood is 120. Vampiric Guard is 140, the War Covenant of Morathi's 100, and the Blade Wind, the Bloodrack Viper. Wait, I didn't even see those. Oh, we missed them. The Blade Wind, the Bloodrack Viper are each 40, and then the Heart of Fury is 80. I skipped a page. I thought they were stuck together. I was like, this seems weird. This is over. Isn't there something else new? All right, Big Snake, what do? Predatory Spell. It can set up and move 9, and it can fly. Summons on a 7. Wholly Within 9. Can move when you set it up, and then after it's moved, the player who moved the endless spell can pick a unit within 1 and roll 3 dice. For oh my god, for each roll that's equal or higher than the wounds characteristic, it's slain. Wow. So roll up on some Iron Guts, and on a 5+, kill them. So potentially, I mean, if you fight someone with 5 wounds and you roll nothing but 6s, you can do 15 mortal wounds basically. But it's not even 15 mortal wounds; they're just slain. So after saves, nothing stops that. That's pretty cool, actually. Blade Wind, it's a predatory, can fly 12, set up within 9, immediately move it. Unnatural Edge, after this model is moved, each unit that passed across or ends within 1 inch of it takes D3 mortal wounds. In addition, don't apply cover to modifiers to save rolls for attacks the target units within 12 of it, so they lose cover if you're within 12 of it. And the Heart of Fury, it cannot be attacked by spells or abilities. It's treated as a friendly model. You summon to the battlefields. It's a friendly model for all armies, for any rules purposes. In order to attempt to summon a Heart of Fury, you must have a model available that is not already in your army and on the battlefield. A Heart of Fury cannot be attempted to be summoned more than once per turn. A Heart of Fury has a pitch battle profile and a point cost. Interesting. And that's a priest, so it's not an endless spell. So Blade Wind is an endless spell. It's an invocation of Khaine instead. So that's cool. This is the first time this has happened. We've got 2 spells and 1. This is like a judgment from Khorne. Summon Heart of Fury in your hero phase. A friendly Daughters of Khaine priest can summon on a 3+. Place it wholly within 12. Locus of the Murder God. Subtract 1 from the damage inflicted to a minimum of 1 by each successful attack that targets a Daughters of Khaine wholly within 12. And then Pledge to Khaine at the end of the battle round. If this model is on the battlefield, the player who set up this model must move roll a die. Add 1 to the roll if there's any Avatars of Khaine within 6. On a 1 to 3, this thing's removed. So basically, it only stays as long as there's either an Avatar on the battlefield, or you can keep rolling 4+, and then you have to keep summoning it over and over again. But it's a -1 damage aura. That's pretty cool. And it's a judgment, which means it can't be dispelled, right? Because it's a priest thing, not a spell thing. Neat. And it's a lot of points though, 80 points, but it's invocation instead of an endless spell. That's cool that there's 2 different types of things. And there we go. order Battletome Daughters of Khaine. 2 new Warscroll, sorry, 2 new temples to fight from. Some minor changes to stuff, but mostly this is just ratifying what's in Morathi and letting you play with your Daughters of Khaine with all the cool new toys. So there we go. We'll check you out today for the Hedonites of Slaanesh review as well. And you can click over in the cards up there and do that anytime you want. And we'll see you next week for more GMG reviews. Till I'm Ash. How about you? I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.